Hey YouTube, how's it going? Evan back here again with another Epic 7 video, and this one's all about Ray. With recent changes to RTA with regards to effectiveness, it may seem weird for me to make a spotlight on a hero that relies on effect resistance, but with the current meta as it is, it's very important for you to have some units that are prepared to counter the current control meta that is running around, and I feel like Ray is probably one of the better ones. First off, Ray is one of the very few units that provides an immunity while fully cleansing your entire team, meaning that he doesn't need to outspeed the debuffers for him to work properly. Secondly, a lot of the meta control units right now are water, specifically Cerise and FTene, so being a green unit means that he is even less likely to be hit by debuffs. And lastly, his heals are actually pretty darn good. The fact that it's scaling off your ally's health means he doesn't need that much health on himself to be useful. He could then focus all his stats on what he needs the most, which is going to be speed and effect resistance. For my build, I currently run a 248 speed Ray with 222 effect resistance. With my Shimadra staff, it goes up to 242. Personally, I think my Ray is too fast. There are situations where the water Tenny is slower than me and it gets awkward, because if Ray goes before the water Tenny, I still have to use my S3 to put up immunity, which means I lose my cleanse and water Tenny just strips it off afterwards. If I could take away 8 speed, move it to either defense or F-res, that would be amazing, but since my gear is limited, this is all I can do. If your gear is lacking speed, I suggest using Water's Origin to boost yourself up for your Ray. It's pretty much the same idea, it's just you're moving your stats around. Instead of getting bonus F-res from your artifact, you're getting bonus speed from your artifact. One of the downsides of Ray is that he's very stat hungry and you need very specific stats. You want a lot of speed, you want a lot of bulk, and you want a lot of F-res. So I would consider Ray to be a very non-noob friendly hero. He's more catered towards endgame players who have a lot of gear. For newer players, I suggest looking at Angelic Montmorency if you're looking for a F-res hero with immunity and cleanse. She's a lot more accessible, a lot more easier to build, but I don't think she provides as much utility as Ray does. So for this first fight, I want to show you how to deal with Water Tenny. The fight is going to be against Code. We're both sitting at champion. He pre-bans Flurry, I pre-ban Crow. Not sure why I pre-ban Crow. I don't know what Code plays anymore because it's been a while since I fought him, but every time I think of Code, I just think of Crow, so I just pre-ban that one. No actual reason why. He first picks Water Tenny, which for me is an answer for Bazaar and FCC. Bazaar pretty good into Water Tenny since it's a matter of speed contest, and I'm pretty confident in my speed by my Bazaar against Code's Water Tenny. Also, FCC pretty good into Water Tenny since I'm gonna have a shield. She's gonna have a 50-50 chance of stripping my immunity, which means she pretty much is guaranteed to ban the FCC. He picks up the Golden Boys to counter my Bazaar, a Tywin and LR Crow, so he's stopping me from going control since he's gonna have immunity no matter what I do. I'm gonna pick up Ray and Landy. Ray just to prepare in case he goes hard control. I don't know if Code plays control, but he has 2 more picks, so just in case he goes hard control, I'm ready to pick my last anti-control unit. So having an anti-control unit at this point means I'll be prepared. And Landy is also pretty good because not only does it counters LR Crow, since LR Crow is going to buff his team, I'm going to have so many buffs for my Landy to work on. Landy is also really good into my team. Like, I've got FCC and Ray, so if he picks Landy, I'll be kind of screwed. So me taking Landy here is denying him from playing Landy, which is what I like to do a lot. So he ends up taking the Ryla and the Ravi because my team is mono green. Ravi is going to be really strong, and the Ryla is pretty strong too because my team's going to be squishy without the FCC. I have to pick Vivian here just in case he bans my Ray, because if I don't pick another immunity unit and he bans my Ray and I let the Water Tenny and the A Tywin through, I'm going to be pretty screwed. So I ban his Fire Ravi because I'm mono green. He bans my FCC because I'm pretty squishy. So those are pretty good plays, and we go to the fight. So the fight's going to start off and I take turn 1 with my Bazaar. Code's not really known for his speed, he's known for super bulky, so I was expecting my Bazaar to take first turn here. S3 with my Bazaar. Still not 100% sure if that's the right play. I could have let the Water Tenny do her thing first, but I end up S3ing here, which is okay. I'm gonna S3 in Vivian too, because it's gonna give me immunity and attack buff. And on Ray, I just ended up skipping a turn since, yeah, I'd rather save the cleanse. I could have shielded here with S2, that way there's more buffs for the Water Tanny to go through. The more buffs you have on your team, the less likely the Water Tanny is going to taunt you. She has to S3 here because she has nothing better to do, but I have so many buffs. I'm mono green too, so she's probably gonna miss a couple, and she could still pop off though. She could hit, remove the immunity, and land the taunt on a unit. So that Water Tanny is not like 100% counterable. You kind of need. You could go Efrez, but she could have a lot of effectiveness, right? So she's a really annoying unit, but this is one way to deal with it. Rowlet's gonna go to my Vivian, but at this point in the game, I think my Vivian was like 1400 defense, and with the Dignus Orb shield, should be like 16k HP-ish. So she's pretty tanky. I'm gonna S2, land some stuns, blinds, and some attack downs, and Vivian takes a turn here. I'm just gonna solo burn S2 since the LR card hasn't taken a turn yet. Might as well use my AoE before the LR card can S3 so he doesn't get the reduced cooldown. Alucard's gonna S3, give the team immunity, deal a decent amount of damage, but Ray's gonna take a turn. Almost killing my Vivian, actually. That's kind of scary. I'm gonna S3 here with Ray. Pretty decent heal. Like I always say, like I said, Ray's a good healer. I'm surprised how much heal that does. I'm gonna S3 on my Landy here. Especially if you got Soul Burn. The Soul Burn here is like almost half the health of your units. S3 my Landy with defense ban since you got so many buffs. I hit the rally at that time. And yeah, it's pretty much game from here. This is just how I deal with Water Tanny. Draft green units, draft double immunity, draft so many things to counter that one unit. Hope that you don't get screwed by the other units, and pray RNG doesn't go his way, and you know you don't get too much bad RNG in this one. But it's a good game. GG Code. He's so tanky, man. His team is so tanky. It takes forever to kill. Yeah, and he gives us from there, and yeah, good game. So this fight will show you what I mean by that Ray can be too fast. It's not necessarily the case here, but it's kind of hard to explain. I'll just show you in the fight later. It's against IKotic. We're both sitting at Legend. He ends up taking first pick here, takes his Water Tanny. I instantly answer with Basar and Ray. I built Ray specifically for Water Tanny, so instantly picking that one, trying to see how people respond to my Ray. I don't really know if playing Ray this early is a good idea, because I could force him into doing more control and then answer with double counter control at the end. But I wanted to see how people respond to an early pick Ray. I also picked Basar because it's Basar. Basar's OP, also a green unit, right into water. She can potentially miss my Basar, so that's an easy pick for me. IKotic answers with the Lilius to respond to my Basar. That's probably an FRES Lilius. A lot of Liliuses right now are 200 plus FRES to counter a lot of Basar players like myself. Also takes out the DN. I answer with SSB Rwana. This is a really good combo here because both units are really good into Water Tanny and Lilius. Water Tanny has a lot of AoE. Lilius has an AoE and a dual attack, meaning that I'm going to get a lot of stacks from my SSB. And those counter attacks and dual attacks also provide Rwana with the CR boost and healing for my entire team. So, and also the fact that I'm playing both of these units at the same time, meaning that he can't use his own Rwana to counter my SSB. So this is a really solid combo here. He answers with Alancia plus Rylet. Pretty decent, just, you know, decent DPS units. But now that he has his DPS units out, I've got a lot of different options. But I end up choosing to pick my Landy, because I see there's a lot of buffs. I see DN, I see Alancia. That's a decent amount of buffs for my Landy. And all I gotta do is take out that Rylet. Since my team is fairly squishy, I don't have any mitigation in this team. There's double Soul Weaver, double DPS, and a Basar. So I gotta take out one of DPS, and Rylet's probably the easy answer. He ends up banning my Rwana. I'm not 100% sure why he banned the Rwana. It is my tankiest unit in this team. Like I said, this team is fairly squishy. Also, Rwana has Revive. He might just not want me to have Revive. Not 100% sure, but this was a draft, and I guess we go to the fight. So I take turn 1 here with my Basar, but I think I made a huge mistake of using my S3. I'm just used to S3ing instantly with my Basar. But if you look at the timeline, that Water Tanny is actually ahead of my Ray, and that is what I wanted. I don't want to move before that Water Tanny, because if I S3 here, I'm going to lose my cleanse. I will have immunity up, but that doesn't matter because Water Tanny can just, you know, strip it off with that's part of her kit. So I just end up wasting my turn and S1ing. The stun here doesn't matter, by the way, because the Lilius is going to take a turn and cleanse that off. So I'm just gonna S3 on my Landy, try to get Ray as soon as I can back in the CR bar, but I think SSB is gonna take a turn before my Ray does, which is gonna be awkward. Because if this Water Tanny hits my SSB, I'm gonna be in a little bit of trouble. I do have 2 buffs on my SSB. I have immunity and speed, so there's a 50% chance that the immunity doesn't get taken off. He has 3s on the DN as well, give himself attack buff and anti-crit. He has 3s with the Water Tanny, and if this hit my SSB, I could be in a lot of trouble because he's gonna deal a decent amount of damage. He does end up taking out the immunity, but I resist the taunt, which was huge for me. Because if I was taunted here, SSB is gonna attack and she's gonna bat back, and depending on what artifact that Water Tanny is, it could be a lot of damage if she's on her own artifact. You're gonna S3 here with the Alencia, deal a decent amount of damage. This is actually a very scary Alencia. That's a good amount of damage. I am a bit squishing my team here, but still, that's a pretty strong Alencia. And yeah, and if that Water Tanny was on her own artifact and was able to S2, I probably could be dead here on my Ray. It's a decent amount of damage. But fortunately, I lap. I'm the S3 soul burn, and I guess this is a showcase of how much the heal can do, especially if you have Shimadro staff. It's a really good heal. And the fact that it scales off allies' health, it's also pretty good when you're playing a lot of bruiser teams like me now. So I was gonna S1 my Landy, try to kill my Landy ASAP. Dang, that Lance is super strong. My Landy's on proof of valor too. So starts gonna take turn. I'm gonna S2. Usually stun 1 person, right? 24% chance. So if you hit 4 people, you usually stun 1. That's just the math. Diane's gonna S2 here, and I think I'm now in a good spot. So long as I have S3 on Landy too, because he's got so many buffs on his team. This is another bug, by the way, if you didn't know. The Landy S3 is very buggy on emulator. So I'm gonna S3 on Landy, deal a good amount of damage since it resets, since he's got so many buffs. Water Tanny is still alive, that defense buff doing work, also anti-crit. He's really desperate, trying to kill my Landy here, but Ray's gonna heal again. And this is why I like Ray so much. His heals are actually insane. He changes, he's so much tempo once he starts healing. And I'm just gonna kill his Water Tanny, probably, or actually, doesn't matter, right? I think at this point, I've already won. I've got so much health compared to his, and he also got speed buff, so I'm gonna be lapping. I'm gonna S3 again with Landy, because he's got, what is that, 13 buffs? If I count correctly, that's 13 buffs, so I'm just gonna S3 again. Deal that defense penetration damage. I really like Landy, especially when they do teams like this where there's too many buffs. And yeah, I think it's over from here, I'm pretty sure. So like I said, this fight showcases what I mean by Ray being too fast. That's why I want to lose some speed in my Ray. It wasn't necessarily the case, it was mostly because I knocked back the Mybasar like an idiot. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just either S1 even would be fine. I didn't have to take a turn with Basar since I had more sustain than he did. I'm just gonna slowly roll down this to Yen, probably gonna kill Lancia afterwards. Yeah, this is the power of Ray. A lot of healing, a lot of utility, and he's a really good hero, I gotta say. For this next fight, we're gonna show 2 more annoying control units in the meta, Sage Baal and Broman. Broman is probably falling off the meta right now since there are just other better control units to play with that are more reliable. But Sage Baal is just purely disgusting currently. That unit is a cockroach and I hate it. Anyways, this fight is going to be against Babich. I'm sitting in Legend, he's in High Champion. He pre-bans Water Tanny, I pre-ban Flurry. He grabs first pick here, grabs the FCC. I answer with Basar Landy, both pretty good into FCC. And both are pretty good into my drafts too, so I usually take those early, that way they don't get drafted into me. He drafts his control team, he drafts Sage Baal and the Broman, both pretty good, but both are pretty weak into a Tywin, which I have, so I easily grab the Tywin here since both those 2 units only do 1 debuff each. I could just end up banning 1, and a Tywin can just S2 the other one. I also grab Cerise, since Cerise can potentially outspeed Broman, stun the Broman maybe if it's not on immunity. But the Cerise is here mainly for the Sage Baal. That way I restrict the Sage Baal and he is forced to S2 turn 1. You don't want Sage Baal to S1 over and over again, going up and down the CR bar, because that is the most annoying thing in the world. He goes ahead and grabs his RB since I don't have an RB counter. That's pretty safe. But he ends up grabbing the Vivian, which already forces him to ban my Basar. I don't think the Vivian was really strong here. It was probably safer to pick another unit and just ban the Tywin later on. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Vivian here. I just end up grabbing the Ray since he's got 2 control units. If he bans my Tywin, I'll be in trouble. Also, I'm already planning to ban the RB anyway, since I don't have an RB counter. Might as well ban the RB and draft another anti-control unit rather than deal with the RB. So I'm gonna ban the RB here. He ends up banning my Landy, thinking it's my only DPS, but my Tywin's actually on a crit damage build. It's got pretty good damage. So I think I'm in a really good spot here. I've got a counter for the Vivian with my Bazaar. I've got some counters for his control units, and FCC is FCC. Doesn't really need to be countered. Alright, so the fight starts off, and I actually outspeed his Broman quite convincingly, both with my Bazaar and my Cerise. Could be speed RNG though, I don't know, but I'm gonna S2 with my Bazaar, knock some of them back, hopefully stun one person, because that is the average rate for every AoE. You stun one person with Abyssal, because Abyssal is dumb. I'm gonna S3 on my Cerise here. You definitely want to restrict the Sage Ball ASAP. That way he does his S2 rather than, you know, S1 over and over again. By restricting the Sage Ball, he's forced to S2 here, which is gonna be a waste because my Tywin has his passive up. My Ray takes a turn before the Sage Ball, which is a bit unfortunate. I would have wanted that Sage Ball to take a turn first. I didn't know what to do with my Ray here. I S3'd. Probably didn't have to. Yeah, probably could just skip the turn here. Not really sure why I S3'd there, to be honest, because it's just going to get stripped. That was probably a misplay on my part. Hindsight 2020. The Sage Ball ups to S1, which is kind of confusing because you're not gonna get anything from that. Pretty sure. I mean, you could have dispelled my immunities here, and FCC could have taunted if she wanted to. I'm just gonna S3 on Tywin. So like I said, it's a crit damage Tywin. I don't want the Vivian to S3 and cleanse some of these debuffs. I didn't stun this Vivian though, and I didn't stun the Broman. She S3s here, and it is definitely a cleanse E. You saw the animation there a bit. It was fortunate though that only FCC got cleansed the immunity. There were so many debuffs that the chances of her taking the immunity on all of her units was going to be really low, since I guess this only removes one debuff and there's so many of the debuffs in RTA is random. So I'm just going to S2 on the Broman here, stun it, because why not. I'm just going to start popping this Broman, because yeah. Oh, I actually removed the restrict on the Sage Ball there, which is kind of annoying. I guess that was his plan. That's why he S1 turn 1, didn't waste his S2 yet. But if he S2s here, I don't think he should, because he's gonna lose his passive ability. Yeah, he's gonna S1 my Cerise. Resisted, pretty lucky. Didn't really matter there, because I think my Ray would have lapped. My Ray would have taken a turn and removed that sleep. If he didn't, I guess S1 on Ray removes one debuff, which is pretty nice. I get a sweet outburst there, pretty decent damage. She's gonna S1 my Cerise, ends up missing. I'm gonna S1 that Vivian, since it's probably the most threatening unit on her team. Ended up landing a stun. Might as well heal my Ray, put it on cooldown, and Sage Ball is gonna take a turn here. Ugh, this unit's so annoying. The fact that you can just S1 over and over, potentially stun someone while getting so much CR over and over again, and then one-shotting you if you like kill it. I hate that unit. I hate that unit. It's nonsense. Yeah, I'm just gonna probably killing the Vivian here, right? I just want to kill the Vivian since it's the only damage source he has. Once I kill that Vivian, I'll be in a pretty decent spot. I've got healing on my Ray, and I don't think these control units have enough effectiveness to hit my Ray. Kill the Vivian there with one hit, and now we're gonna start hitting this Sage Ball. That's 10k pure damage, just cause he can. Man, I really hate that unit. I think after this, I started pre-banning Sage Ball because I just didn't want to deal with it. He procs my S2 on the Tywin, which is pretty smart, and yeah, taunts the Cerise. So now his Broman's gonna pop off. His Broman can S2, but no way does it proc my Ray. I think pretty confident my Ray has enough ER to deal with this Broman. It actually does not. Whoa, I need more ER in my Ray, now I realize, but I'm still in a good spot. He does not have enough damage to deal with me, I think. He S1, the Cerise again, ends up sleeping it. Control, dude. Control is so AIDS. Even though you have units that counter it, they can still pop off if they play properly, which Babich is playing his control team properly to its full advantage. Gonna S1 the Cerise again. Breaks it up though. But I guess he wasn't scared because my S3 is off cooldown. Yeah, I think my S3 is off cooldown, so I couldn't get a guaranteed dual attack there. Look at that, dude. It's almost like a turn. That Sage Ball already took a turn, and it's already at 60% CR. He's gonna hit here, dual attack, into sleep, gain more CR. That unit makes me so mad. I mean, I did misplay a couple times here. I wasted my S3 on my Ray, but this was a learning experience. I think I was kind of tilted this day already by all these Sage Balls. Like, the fact that I don't have him probably is the reason why I'm so angry. Sage Ball is gonna probably S1 something. Probably not gonna S2 because A Taiwan's probably on. Yeah, that the effectiveness changes is now wrecking my Ray. Can't believe that Sage Ball still has a strip. I'm gonna S3 at my Ray here, give myself immunity and a little bit of healing. Sage Ball takes another turn. He's gonna S2, strip everything. I'm slapped onto my units, resisted on Ray. Now it takes another turn. So not fun. That unit is so, unless if you're the one playing it, Sage Ball is only fun if you're the person playing it. I resist on my time there, pretty lucky, but that was from a dual attack that he did, so he got lucky, then I got lucky, so we both got lucky a little bit. He's gonna proc the S2 on my A Taiwan. I'm gonna S2 again, heal a little bit, give myself a little bit of shield. Now the Sage Ball doesn't have S2 anymore, so he's not getting a lot of CR push, but still annoying. Sleeps my Taiwan. My Bassar has S3. I'm probably gonna soul burn because yeah, why not? Try to knock him back, potentially land some abyssal procs, hopefully. This is definitely gonna knock him back and give them immunity. That way they don't get shields from the FCC anymore. I do stun the cockroach. He procs on his Brahmin, wakes up my Taiwan, and this is gonna be good from here because now my Taiwan is S3 back, and now I can cycle S3 over and over again. With the crit damage build I have with being Frenzy 6, this should be a decent amount of damage. He's not going to be gaining shield from the FCC anymore because they're unbuffable. And yeah, I'm just going to cycle now. It's my turn to control. After his turn of controlling, I get to have a little bit of fun now. This feels kind of good actually. The fact that he got some fun, and now I'm the one who's going to have some fun. He can't sleep the Taiwan. I guess he could, if he's got Abyssal, right? He could sleep and stun the Taiwan potentially here. But I think at this point, he is kind of screwed. Yeah, this is the, we're on Frenzy 7. Control versus control. Takes so long. That's one there, dual attack, pretty nice, Abyssal proc 2, something, things happen. And I think that Sage Ball has S3 again. I don't think he could kill anything though. My team is fairly tanky. Remember, I started off like a 13k HP on both my Bassar and my Ray. Get a sweet Elburst there. I think I have heal here. I'm just gonna S2, give myself a shield and healing. That way the ball cannot one-tap me, potentially. I think I S3 instead, I guess. I should S2 there, I think. Yeah, I should S2. Definitely S2. That way we get a shield and healing, so that we don't get one-tapped by this Sage Ball. I'm gonna S1 the ball, take the skill null off, potentially stun it. Didn't stun it. He's forced to S3 here because he's in trouble. He's probably gonna hit my Ray. I think my Ray has a lower health here, and he should know that. He goes for my Bassar instead. I think my Bassar has more health, and almost actually kills it. Fair and balanced unit. That unit, I hate it. I could have lost here probably, or maybe, I don't know. I think I already won, but that cockroach, man, please nerf that thing. Thank you. Anyways, guys, that's it for my Ray Spotlight video. Hope you guys like it. I think he's a really strong unit, but like I said, he's a very endgame player. You need a lot of stats on him. Mine's not even that strong. I think he's super fast, but he's really squishy. He dies a lot of times in my fights, and it's hard to bring him if I don't have any mitigation, because they could just draft DPS unit and one-shot my Ray. Also, guys, I'm trying to pop off on YouTube, trying to make myself famous, emphasis on the word trying. If you guys want to help me out, if you like this video, maybe hit that thumbs up, write a comment, subscribe, or maybe do all those three. I also recently hit partner on Twitch, whoop whoop. If you want to check me out on Twitch, links in the description below. And also my Discord, it will be down there. If you want to see any of my stats, those are going to be updated on my Discord every other day. So if you want to see my stats anytime you want, just look at my Discord. And lastly, if you want to see any of my other videos, any of my hero spotlights, I have a playlist down there in the description as well. Anyways, this is Melvin. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.